Well, hello, friends. Father Frank Pavone here, National Director of Priests for Life, coming to you from our Mother Angelica TV studios at our Priests for Life headquarters in Titusville, Florida. Thanks for spending some time with me. We are praying for all your intentions, and I see already Barbara letting us know one of those prayers being answered. Thank you for praying for me, Father Pavone. I went for my interview and got my job. Great. Congratulations. I remember you telling us the other night during the broadcast to pray for that interview. Friends, we're praying for you all your intentions. You can always go to prayerintentions.org and as many times as you like, with as many intentions as you like. And not only I, but all our Priests for Life team, Alvita King and Janet Morana and Brian Kemper and Father Dennis, and we're all praying for you, and we love to do that. So tonight I want to give you my Daily Diary segment for the last few days. I like to do that every so often because I am at your service, and those who support a ministry like this, as so many of you do, deserve to know exactly what we're doing with your support. You make it possible for me to be sitting here, for me to be traveling, for me to be doing the pro-life works, giving the pro-life messages. Just you make it possible. So that's why I always report back to you, my friends, from about all this activity. Oh, by the way, I see Maria Wadsworth watching from Miami. Maria, I was going to give you a call, and let's connect tomorrow if we can. We are going to do some initiatives with the Florida pro-lifers for the elections, and those others of you who are from the state of Florida, we want to arrange a conference call very soon to talk about the elections and the important position that Florida has with the elections. We're going to do that for a bunch of other states as well, and but Florida is very much on our radar. Of course, it's where we are based, and it's always an electorally important state. So Maria, really providential that, and Lynn watching from Miami too. Miami's a great, strong area. I remember many visits I've made there over the years with my Priests for Life work, and I know what a strong contingent of pro-life people you are. When you get together, please give the other pro-lifers of the area my best regards, if you would, my personal regards, and I hope to drive down there soon and see you all. But please give everyone my regards there in the Miami area. And we look forward to speaking with you by phone very soon. So let's see, Texas, okay, thank you. Please pray for me as I battle sheep in wolves' clothing. Yes, I will. Thank you for mentioning that. That's an important prayer intention, isn't it? Many of us have those kinds of battles. Delphina from California, God bless you. Thank you for watching. I'm coming out to California in a couple of weeks, by the way. September 7th in San Francisco, there is a pro-life conference. It's a statewide California conference, and I will be one of the main speakers at that conference. So that's coming up September 7th. By the way, all of you can see my travel schedule on our main website, endabortion.us. Scroll to the bottom, you see the different members of our team and the travel schedule of the cities that we're going to visit. So let's begin with prayer, my book, Pro-Life Reflections for Every Day. Today, the quote comes to us from the letter of James, chapter 2, verse 8. You will be doing well if you truly observe the sovereign law. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Reflection. Some politicians claim that it is not their business to impose their religious beliefs on the rest of America. But none object to enforcing laws against stealing. Why isn't that an imposition of religion, given the fact that the Bible tells us not to steal? The reason, of course, is that you have a right to your possessions, not because you are a Christian, but because you are human. Let us pray. Lord, help us distinguish between religious beliefs and moral laws that are rooted in our nature. Amen. Isn't that an interesting thought? You've got these politicians say when it comes to abortion, they don't want to protect the babies in the womb by law because, oh, that would be an imposition of belief, but they'll protect your possessions by law because somehow that's not an imposition of belief. to protect your possessions. Thou shalt not steal. The Catechism says it. Jesus said it. The Bible says it, both in the New and the Old Testaments. But no, they don't see that as an imposition of religion because they understand it's common sense. The law has to protect your rights. And if it has to protect your right to possess something, it has to protect your right to live. The pro-choice position is so totally and completely illogical. The arguments, they can't even, we'll probably put that in quotation marks, they don't even qualify as arguments that the other side uses. And they're absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. Thank you, Linda, for saying that. She says, Father Frank, you give us strength. It's a battle. It certainly is. It's the battle of our time. Just like history looks back on certain ages as the age of the Holocaust, the age of slavery, the age of segregation. This is the age of abortion. And history will judge the time we are living in right now by how we responded to abortion. Mark my words, it will not judge this time by how we responded to climate change. It will judge this age by how we responded to abortion. And that's why I'm so grateful to all of you that take a stand for this cause, the greatest human rights battle of our time. So yes, it is a battle. It is the battle. It is the overriding battle because it is the overriding and foundational right that every person has, a right that must be protected by law. You know, I saw one of the Democratic presidential candidates the other night, Delaney, Congressman Delaney, being asked about his position on abortion. In fact, he was being asked by Peggy Noonan very directly and very clearly whether or not he's in favor of late-term abortion. And he said, well, my wife and I would observe the teachings of our church. We're Catholic. And we would observe the teachings of our church if faced with that situation. Okay. So far, so good. But he said, I don't see my response having to be the same way when I'm legislating or deciding public policies for others. Well, one of the flaws in that argument is that the church's teaching on this issue is not just that you don't do it. The church's teaching on this issue is that you have to do everything possible to stop others from doing it. It's like saying, well, I follow the church's teaching. Again, let's go back to stealing. I follow the church's teaching on stealing. Well, what does that mean? Just that I don't steal, but I go ahead and let somebody else do it if they want? Or that I participate in protecting other people's possessions? You see somebody stealing your neighbor's car, what do? You call the police? Or do you campaign for the right to steal a car? Or do you tell them, hey, you've got the right. You've got the right. Go ahead and you've got the right to choose to steal. Thank you, my friend, for your question. Quick question, if you vote for a pro-choice candidate, is that a sin? It's morally wrong, yes, and if a person realizes it's morally wrong, it is a sin. I make that distinction simply because a lot of people don't know what the position of the candidate is on abortion. Some of the candidates try to hide their position on it. But if you know that a candidate is for abortion and you know that you have a viable alternative who's pro-life, by electing the person that is pro-abortion, you are participating in that sin. And that in itself is a sin. To participate in a sin is a sin. It's a deep, I mean, think of it this way. What if you had a party that was explicitly, actually supporting terrorism, and they were running candidates for office, and the candidate said, if I'm elected, we're going to have more terrorism? Do you have any responsibility if you put that person into public office? Of course you do. You do, indeed. Cecilia is saying, ask them if they had permission to take the car. Exactly. I mean, and this is where, morality is never a snapshot. if you see a snapshot of people carrying a car away from somebody's driveway or carrying a TV set out of somebody's house, you can't tell from that photo whether the action is right or wrong, because you don't know if they're the repair people carrying the thing out to fix it or to replace it, or friends that are borrowing the object because the owner loaned it to them, or if they're thieves. So the picture of an action, oh, I see somebody stealing a car. Well, what do I see them doing? I can see them taking the car, but how do I know that they're stealing the car? Depends if they have permission, right? From the owner. So how does that compare with the taking of the life of a baby? Well, the owner is God. No human being owns another. Some pro-choice people defend abortion because they say the mother owns the child. Yeah, welcome back to the age of slavery. There is no such thing as owning another human being. Mother doesn't own the baby. The mother is entrusted with the baby that God owns. It reminds me of the time I've told you before when I was praying at an abortion facility, and one of our people had literally his toes over the property line. People in the abortion mill came out yelling and screaming, "Get your feet off our property!" And I was leading the prayers at that moment, and I paused and I said to them, "And when are you going to get your hands off God's property?" It is the property of God that the abortionist steals and destroys when reaching his hand into that mother's body with those surgical forceps and twisting the arms and legs off that child and pulling them out and putting them into the pan and reaching back in and nipping a piece of the skull and taking it back out, and then the skull collapses and the brain matter flows out, and then he goes in and removes the skull piece by piece. How are we tolerating this barbarity? How can anyone in their right mind say that this is okay? And how can some of those who say that this is okay claim to want to run for public office? They want to govern this country. They want to make the laws or enforce the laws, even as the chief executive of this country. And they can't bring themselves to say that they would protect a baby from being dismembered alive? Is this for real? Is this for real? That's why I say, my friends, and don't think of it as primarily a political statement. It's a moral statement. We cannot support not only a candidate who's pro-abortion, a party that's pro-abortion. The entire Democrat Party, and people shouldn't be criticizing me for saying this, because it's not my fault that the Democrat Party is fully, totally pro-abortion. Look at their platform. Not only is there not a single restriction on abortion that they permit, but they want us to pay for it. Now, please, that's not my fault. That's not my doing. I had nothing to do with it. But I'm not going to sit back and not criticize it. And neither should you. We've got an entire party now. They didn't have to do this. They didn't have to jump in bed with the abortion industry. They didn't have to take the pro-abortion philosophy hook, line, and sinker. They didn't have to do that. But they did. And then you've got some church authorities trying to tell priests like me to keep quiet because I'm being too political. Go take a hike. I'm not going to be quiet because you think I'm being too political when we're living in the middle of a Holocaust and one of the major political parties in our country is approving it, defending it, and asking us to pay for it. You know, you and I, brothers and sisters, all of us our blood should be boiling about this. Boiling. Anybody, church authority, employer, friend, parent, child, anybody in your life or in my life who tries to tell us to keep quiet about this, very, very respectfully, you look at them and you say, go take a hike. You don't get to tell us to be quiet about this. You just don't get to tell us to be quiet about this. None of you, for any reason. So, it's not a political statement in its motivation. Because believe me, if the parties swapped positions on abortion, and if tomorrow the Democrat Party became totally pro-life and the Republican Party became totally pro-abortion, I'd be saying exactly the same thing, and it would be the Republicans taking the criticism. Thank you, Anita, for saying I will never vote for a Democrat. Good for you. Good for saying it. Many people have come to that conclusion. It's the party of death. It's the party of death. What is it? See, here's an interesting question. What would it take for somebody to come to the conclusion, Anita, that you came to, who hasn't come to it yet? It's hard to understand. When people see what this party is doing, what they're standing for, and what they're standing against the lives of children, they're standing against your faith and mine and our religious freedom. What more do they have to do to convince somebody not to put them into power? I don't know what more do they have to do. Thank you, Mark, for saying, I don't understand how fellow Catholics say you shouldn't be a single-issue voter. Is there any issue more important than this? You're absolutely right. There is no issue more important than life, because if you don't have it, what kind of education plan can you enjoy, right? There's these people who say, I disagree with you on pro-choice, but listen, I have a great education plan. You know what a stupid thing for a politician to say? A great education plan for which children? The dead ones? We can respectfully disagree on abortion, but listen to me, elect me, because I have a great health care plan. Again, what a stupid thing for a politician to say. A good health care plan for who? The babies you threw in the garbage? Good health care plan. Thank you, Tanya, for saying you are born and raised under communism, with the tearful emoji. I am a proud Catholic and Republican. God bless you. Thank you for saying that. Born and raised under communism. You know, you and so many other people have seen the face of this kind of evil that party represents and has imposed on so many people. We have to appreciate that more. We have to learn from people like you. Hey, Ruben Radar Rodriguez, I remember you from a long time ago. Ruben is saying, I received the same flack in the 1990s when I started the pro-life police group. Ruben, God bless you. It's so good to hear from you. I remember being, this was at around the time I was starting with Priests for Life in the early 90s. I remember hearing about you and just cheering on your work with pro-life among the police officers. And you know what, just like in my case, you know, being pro-life, and Ruben, we're saying now that was the beginning of my careful journey. Thank you for saying the word careful. Careful journey from the Democrat Party to the Republican Party. Well, God bless you, because you know it has to be a careful journey. We're not just, you know, I mean, our blood boils about this stuff, but that doesn't mean that these decisions are off the top of our head or impulsive or just by emotion. It's got to be a careful journey. And many people, Ruben, as you know, and so many of the rest of you know, have made that journey from Democrat to Republican, because you know, and we've got this on our website. If you go to, let me see, what's the best page? Votinginfo.org. Votinginfo.org. We have one of the links on those on that page shows what you would call the decline, the corruption, the devolution of the Democrat Party platform. There's a link on that page that shows, quoting from year to year, convention to convention, every 4 years, how the Democrat Party slowly began to accept baby killing and sexual perversion and the rejection of God and the rejection of religious freedom. It just gets worse and worse with every passing year, right up until this last time, 2016, when they came out with a platform that even said they don't want to protect our taxpayer dollars from funding baby killing. So it's got to be a careful journey. You know, you have to do it with open eyes, as you have done, as so many other people have done. Open eyes, thinking, talking with others, learning from others, and this is also so very important. Now, one of you is asking, and thank you for the question, why do we spend so much time on abortion and not enough time teaching girls to value themselves more? We have to teach girls to value themselves more. That's part of our message as well. Different groups focus on different aspects of this issue. Obviously, as you know, they're all interconnected. It's precisely the lack of girls valuing themselves that can lead to sexual promiscuity, that can lead to the act of abortion itself, and subsequent self-punishment, et cetera, et cetera. All of these things are deeply connected. There's so many aspects of this issue, right? There's a lot of things that feed into abortion. And so what we have to do is encourage all the different groups, each of whom specialize. There's various chastity groups and sexual integrity groups. In fact, a lot of the pregnancy centers that we work with and work for do exactly this kind of training: sexual integrity and value, proper self-esteem. The church is supposed to be imparting this message. So we agree completely. This is a key thing that has to be emphasized. But understand that we talk about abortion so much because it's the most blatant offense. It's the actual murdering of a child. And that is a greater evil than having a lack of self-worth, lack of self-esteem. These things are bad, and they can lead to that evil, but they aren't in and of themselves at exactly the same level. So abortion, obviously, that's why it commands more attention. And some groups like mine, some people like me, we are focused specifically on that very, very specific problem of stopping the killing. But the teaching about self-worth and dignity and proper self-respect and flowing from that, the sexual integrity, is the priority of many other groups. And you can be sure we at Priests for Life, and I personally am encouraging them and cheering them on and helping them in any and every way that we can. Well, so hey everybody, a lot of good comments and contributions here. Thank you for all your insights and your support. So I was starting with telling you about my daily diary. So let me tell you what I've been about doing these recent days. My last daily diary segment I finished on August the 12th. And that's when we had just finished the day before our pro-life leaders meeting, and then I had another meeting after the meeting, and then did some more office work on the 11th. And then on the 12th, we started right in on our regular pastoral team meeting, which went Monday through Friday, right up to yesterday, in other words. Pastoral team meeting is when our pastoral team comes together, and we meet. We have a series of meetings, morning and afternoon and sometimes at night, when we are updating each other, making plans, Priests for Life plans, evaluating how our projects are going so that we can better serve you. And so all this week we've been having those meetings. Now this time we did it virtually. We used GoToMeeting technology, and sometimes the pastoral team comes here physically, other times we do it virtually. This week was a series of virtual meetings. And what we do is we prepare a detailed schedule on these different colored sheets that you see I have, really hour by hour from morning to night, who has to meet with whom. Staff are meeting with each other. I'm meeting with all the different departments of our ministry. I have here a meeting with our international folks that do the work at the United Nations, defending the unborn. We have here meetings of the let's see here. Okay, well, the whole team gets together. Meetings with our Rachel's Vineyard team specifically. Meetings with our production team. Those are the staff responsible for getting the books published. We have a publishing division here at Priests for Life. We're getting the brochures written. We talk about new products that need to be created, and we decided on some new products that we're going to write up, print up, and then make debut at the March for Life in Washington. And so we'll have those ready between now and then. More meetings with our international people, meetings with our youth outreach. The pro-life t-shirts, we make plans for promotion of new pro-life t-shirts. Go to our store, prolifeproducts.org, and you'll see the pro-life t-shirts there. We have monthly reading that we give to our pastoral team. And one of the sessions here on Tuesday was about that. We review one or another of the latest pro-life books that has come out, and we talk about it in detail. Maybe it's a pro-life book, maybe it's an in-depth article on some aspect of abortion. And then, let's see, Wednesday came, we had the whole pastoral team meeting. Each of the departments gives an update, our products, our website statistics. We analyze what pages are doing well, how many visitors are going to each page, how long they're staying there, how we can make those pages better for you, to serve you. All of this is to serve you. Postings on our websites, our social media statistical report. We met and we talked about that. The travel that our team does. We talk together about how to make the travels more effective. More meetings with our Silent No More team. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have, the different departments of the ministry give their updates to the whole staff when we come together. We did a lot of that. And then we went into continued meetings on Thursday, travel meetings for each of the pastoral team members. We talk about where they're going, how we can maximize the trip. We had our fundraisers call in and talk with the team about their work and generating donations, which I know that many of you are part of the solution. Go to prolifegift.org and you can be part of the solution. We're always in need of more funds because we rely on you. We rely on people like you. We don't get like Planned Parenthood grants from the government, for goodness sake, hundreds of millions of dollars. We get the $25 donations from people like you, the $50 donations, and friends, we're so appreciative of every dime that comes in. And we got a great team, not only the fundraisers, but the financial experts, some folks with experience on Wall Street. We've got some of the very best consultants to make sure all our finances are in good order. So we have various meetings with them. And on Thursday, we, of course, besides celebrating the Assumption, we welcomed not one, not two, but 3 new staff members here at our headquarters at Priests for Life. We are so happy. Our staff continues to grow. The work continues to grow, so we have to keep hiring more people to help us get the work done. And we had the 3 new ladies come. If you go to our website, you'll be able to meet them, and you'll see them there on the website. Let me just pause here for another Ruben's question here. Father, have you ever considered a Roku channel or cable channel? Maybe links so we can replay your offerings if we're busy with shift work or other of life's challenges. Thank you, Ruben. The answer is yes. I have our staff member, Rob, who handles the social media. He's bringing you this broadcast right now, by the way. And he asked me some time ago, he said, Father, you want to get a Roku channel? And I said, yes, right away. And so he's going to make that happen. And but right now, our broadcasting is, of course, I see you're watching us on Facebook, endabortion.tv. If you go there to that website, endabortion.tv, you'll see that the various channels that this feed is going into right now. Rob multi-streams it, so it's going into these various places at the same time. And it's very shareable. Each of these platforms has its way of sharing it, replaying it, and so forth. And so by all means, I encourage you, and I thank you for thinking about this, to take these broadcasts and to share them in any way that you can among your associates. And again, thanks for your great work. So we're very happy about these 3 new staff people that we have. Let's see here. We continued with meetings. Thursday, of course, was the Assumption. We had a special celebration for that. And then Thursday night, we all enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed, President Trump's rally speech from Manchester, New Hampshire. What an electrifying gathering that was. We brought it to you live here on this channel, and you can go back and watch it again. We also have another special website. And whenever you watch, by the way, brothers and sisters, if you have a little, either a pad there or a good old-fashioned pen and paper or some kind of a device on which you can take notes, take note of the many different websites that I mentioned, because we got lots of them and we try to make them as easy as possible. ProLifePresident.com. What we do there is every time President Trump has one of these rallies, we, besides broadcasting it live, we keep the recording there at of ProLifePresident.com. You always see the most recent rally. And then we also have all the rallies on another page. You can access all of it at ProLifeVote.com. But go back and watch the New Hampshire rally speech from the other night. If you haven't seen it yet, my friends, as I always say, the rally speeches that the president gives, they do three basic things. Number one, they remind us of the tremendous accomplishments that this president and his administration have made. They review in detail a lot of the good news that you're not going to hear from a lot of the mainstream media. Secondly, they talk about, as we've talked a little bit about here tonight, the dangers posed to us by the Democrat Party. And again, please, nobody accuse me of being too political for saying that. Again, it's not my fault that they're causing all kinds of havoc. Just look at the objective evidence. The dangers we face from the Democratic Party. And then, the third thing the president does so well in these rally speeches, reminds us what we stand for. We as Americans, what do we stand for? What do we believe in? One of the lines from the speech the other night was something like this. He said, "We believe that faith and family, not government and bureaucracy, are the American way." Do you believe that? Does that reflect what you believe? Faith and family are the American way, not government and bureaucracy. Beautiful lines like this all throughout the speech, reminding us what we stand for, what we believe in, what we work so hard to make sure that our children and grandchildren will enjoy in this nation. This election is you know, it's not just about what's happening now or what's going to happen to us. It's about what kind of future are we building for our children and for our grandchildren. And Cesar, thank you for your comment. And that was something that the president mentioned as well, about the welcome that America gives to the whole world. Anyone is welcome. That's part of the greatness of America, that these ideals of freedom, of accomplishment, are offered to the world, and that this country is based not primarily on unlike a lot of other countries, is not based on a geography or an ethnicity as much as it is based on an idea and an ideal. The idea and the ideal of freedom. And while a person or a family's actual success will vary from person to person, the greatness of America is that they're given the opportunity to succeed. And anyone and everyone are welcome to take part in that. The president believes that. He articulates that clearly. And watch the rally speeches. Watch and you'll see. You'll be excited. You really will. So Thursday night, we did that. We had that rally speech, and we broadcast it. And I live tweeted during the course of it. And did the got lots of comments from many of you, and happy for your participation in that. Friday, I did a lot of training with the new staff, as did our executive director, Janet Marana, and we had lunch. We always bring, when we bring a new employee on board, Our executive administrative team takes them to lunch on one of their first days here, a welcome lunch we call it, a way to get to know them and let them get to know us. So we really are a family here, and we try to preserve and maintain that family spirit among our staff. We expect hard work. People know that before they accept the job. We expect a lot of hard work because, as we were saying before, this is the battle of our age. This is the fundamental human rights movement of our age. So it's no nonsense. It's hard work. But it's hard work in an environment of mutual support and of mutual esteem and mutual encouragement. And that's the kind of atmosphere we try to create. Today I've been here. I've been here working like crazy. A lot of things to catch up on, a lot of pro-life leaders to connect with, follow up from the pro-life leadership meeting we had last week, getting ready for another pro-life leadership meeting that we are leading about a month from now in Washington, D.C., communicating with lawmakers, communicating with the White House, communicating with many, many people at my desk, on the phone, on the email. I've just been trying to catch up today as best as I could. And here we are now with our evening broadcast. So we want to be, our team, at your service. And thank you, Deacon Mike. Thank you for being a deacon and for tuning in to our program. God bless all the deacons. You know, we have a Deacons for Life effort. And Deacons for Life around the country, around the world. Check that out as well, deaconsforlife.org. Yes, Pro-Life President, Delphina, prolifepresident.com is where we have that, the video of the recent rally, prolifepresident.com. So thank you, friends. Time to get to bed, for me at least, and pray for me as I pray for you. And now I want to give you God's blessing. May the Lord bless you and your families. May He bless your work and all your prayer intentions. And above all, may He make you a faithful and effective apostle of the dignity of life in our day. May He bless you, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Father Frank Pavone here of Priests for Life. Talk to you tomorrow.